Over the years, excavations on Oak Island have repeatedly raised the question, is there really something hidden here? Or are we just chasing shadows of the past? But recently, a discovery revived the debate. In Season 10, Episode 15, the team was working borehole DN 11.5 near Smith's Cove, an area known as the Treasure Zone, when something unusual came up. Rick Lagina had stepped back to rest, and Charles Barkhouse and geologist Terry Matheson were in charge of the site. The area was already known for its high gold content and air-filled layers. As the drilling passed a depth of 78 to 88 feet, the machine felt a strange kind of pressure. Such a disturbance in the soil in that area is not considered normal. Drill operator Mike said that at about 90 feet, the rod hit something, and then suddenly a 1.5-foot deep void appeared, which was a surprise for the entire team. This was the same depth where it was already speculated that something could be hidden. Perhaps an old tunnel, a chamber, or part of some construction. This discovery was not just a technical data, it brought the theory that was going on for years closer to reality. Sometimes the clues that lead to a discovery are more important than the discovery itself. Similarly, when a core sample was extracted and solid wood fragments were found, the team realized for the first time that they had passed through something structured, not just a normal layer of soil. Geologist Terry Matheson immediately noted that the wood was no ordinary piece of wood. It had strength, shape, as if it had been part of a structure. A piece was sent to the lab for testing. X-ray fluorescence, XRF scanning detected faint gold particles in the wood and the water around it. This data was solid, ground-based evidence, not theory. It was this discovery that immediately called Rick and Marty Lagina to the site. The tunnels that had been indicated in earlier boreholes DN 2.5 and DN 13.5 now appeared to connect into a structure extending in an east-west direction. This could be the void the team had been anticipating for years. This discovery gave the entire mission a new direction. It wasn't just another discovery. It was a solid link to a long history that had only been understood through legend and belief. The search picked up steam in Season 11, and the team stepped up their excavations in an area known as Lot 5, an area rich in historical significance and potential clues. Excavations there turned up shards of red clay pottery dating back to the 1600s. If the dates prove correct, they indicate human activity even before the discovery of the money pit. These clues raised a serious question. Who came to the island so early in the life of the island, and why? Were they just travelers? Or did they come to bring or hide something that history has kept hidden? One of the great things about excavation is that each new layer, each piece of soil, is a conversation with the past. The Oak Island team had a similar experience when they discovered some metal objects in the coastal area of Lot 5. This time, the focus was on an area that had not been given much importance before. But when the metal detectors started giving more signals, the team began to investigate more closely. Soon, an iron bar, a decorative metal piece, and a tool-like object emerged from the ground, which was believed to be an ancient mining tool. Among the finds were some coins, one of which was a 13th-century French denier. The coin was not just a historical object, but a potential clue that could point to a French presence or perhaps people associated with the Templars. The excavation in the money pit area also produced some solid clues. Wood samples from a depth of 98 to 108 feet matched samples obtained from old boreholes nearby. This combination pointed to a possible tunnel network, one that may have linked directly to structures like the garden shaft. While no gold or silver was found in this phase, traces of a rare and precious metal called palladium were found, raising the possibility that the metal may have been used to to hide or refine treasure. Meanwhile, the search was expanded even further. When Jerry Drayton and his team began a systematic metal detecting process near the beach at Lot 5, they found circular patterns embedded in the ground. The patterns looked ordinary, but the archaeologists linked them to a central activity site, a place where boats might have docked, or where trade transactions took place in ancient times. The discovery sparked a new thought. Was the area limited to stories of a single treasure? Or was it once part of a larger system, a hub of trade, transportation, or strategic activity? Often, excavations unearth tools or relics that appear ordinary at first glance, but reveal historic significance when looked at more closely. During one investigation of Lot 5, as Peter began digging in a marked spot, Jerry Drayton began precise scanning with a small handheld metal detector nearby. They soon located a long iron tool, triangular in shape and pointed at the tip. Jerry said it might be a cribbing spike, a tool used in ancient shipbuilding or early structural work. Its shape and metal texture indicated it may have been part of an old construction site, perhaps the same tunnel system that is believed to exist beneath Oak Island. Not long after, they found another iron piece, this time with a hole large enough to hold a hand. Jerry guessed it might be the handle of an old pair of scissors. Laboratory tests confirmed that guess. The design of the object matched Spanish scissors from the 16th or 17th century. This discovery made it clear that human activity on the island may have begun earlier than previously believed. Slowly, excavations revealed the appearance of a rectangular foundation in Lot 5, possibly dating from the 1700s. Surprisingly, this foundation appeared to be connected to a circular structure that may have been a century older. Helen, the team's archaeologist, noticed that the center of the foundation had an uneven accumulation of stones and rubble, giving the impression that the structure was intended to hide or surround something rather than a simple construction on level ground. Subsequent excavations turned up creamware ceramics dating from 1762 and a fragment of a fine porcelain teacup. These rare and sophisticated objects indicated that the area was not just home to treasure hunters or military expeditions, but also to people with resources, status, and a need for secrecy. Technology also played a big role in the discovery. Using an advanced technique called muon tomography, which creates structural images based on the density present in the ground, the team identified several underground anomalies near the money pit. One of these dense shapes was found at a depth of 65 feet, just below the garden shaft, while others were recorded at 112 feet and 230 feet. The shape and position of these shapes indicated that these may not be natural, but intentionally constructed structures, such as tunnels or secret chambers, which completely matched the team's years-old theory. Sometimes the most interesting thing about archaeological discoveries is not what is found, but how and where it was found. During the excavations in Lot 5, the team found signs of a structure that was unique. There was a rectangular foundation, which analysis suggests may date from the 1700s. And what was most interesting was that the foundation appeared to be connected to an even older, circular structure, perhaps from the 1600s. This repetition got the team thinking. Was this the same place that the teams from different times returned to again and again? And if so, why? Archaeologist Helen believed the uneven rubble in the center of the foundation suggested the purpose of the construction may have been to hide something, not just to lay the foundation for a building. Meanwhile, while sifting through rubble from the garden shaft, a nail-like metal object was found, likely part of an old tool. Its triangular shape and worn edges suggest it may have been connected to the construction of a tunnel, vault, or underground chamber. The discovery strengthens the notion that structures hidden beneath the island may be reality, not just legend. In another investigation, an object initially thought to be a coin was later analyzed to be a 13th century lead seal, associated with the British trading company Parker and Company, which hauled military supplies in the 1700s. The discovery raises a number of questions. Was the island ever used for formal military or trading activities? And were there any organized efforts at the site between the 1200s and 1700s? Each object, whether it's a rusty nail or a piece of porcelain, adds a new chapter to the story of Oak Island. These discoveries challenge existing narratives and prompt us to consider the island as not just a treasure trove, but a long-standing historical juncture. As the excavations went deeper, it became clear that the island was not just a story of something buried underground, but also of many layers of history, bearing the imprint of early explorers, secret organizations, and skilled engineers. Every time the drilling machine turned the ground, every time a new piece emerged, it was as if the island was slowly revealing its secrets. The search continued, more intensely now. Each new object, each new clue, added depth to the mystery rather than solving it. And that is why this story is no longer just about the team. It is a source of curiosity for the millions of people who watch it on TV every week. In archaeology, when structures from different periods are found on top of or near each other at a site, it indicates that the place was not just a temporary focus of interest. There was a strong reason to return there again and again. The layers of circular and rectangular structures found at Oak Island's Lot 5 indicated the same. Helen, the team's senior archaeologist, believed that the circular structure may have been the base of a central operation. Whether its purpose was storage, protection, or hiding something valuable, it was clear that it was not ordinary construction. A fragment of a fine porcelain teacup was also found in the same area, which was a significant discovery in itself. Not only was the object rare, it also showed that someone had once been at the site, who was not just a laborer or a simple explorer, perhaps a military officer, an elite, or a member of an organized institution. Such objects, refined ceramics on the one hand and heavy construction tools on the other, strengthen the possibility that there was once a power operating on Oak Island that had the resources, technical expertise, and the ability to maintain secrecy. Long-term covert operations require both of these types of things, both workforce and capital. This theory was also supported by technical evidence when the team used muon tomography technology, which creates three-dimensional images based on density variations within the ground. This technique recorded several unusual voids and solid structures below the ground near the money pit. In particular, a dense structure was found at 65 feet below the garden shaft, and clearly formed shapes were also found at depths of 112 and 230 feet, the size and direction of which matched the details associated with historical tunnels and treasure. Looking at the nature of these shapes, it was not difficult to say that these were not natural caves, but deliberately constructed structures. This led to the idea that the people who once visited it were not mere explorers or adventurers. They were working in a planned manner, perhaps with the aim of hiding or securing something. It was also speculated that such constructions were not just for hiding treasure, but rather complex traps, fake tunnels, and illusory structures may have been created to deter potential looters. The true value of ancient objects often lies more in their context than their form. When a triangular-shaped iron tool was found during an excavation on Oak Island, even the rust on it could not hide its story. While searching through rubble near the garden shaft, Gary Drayton's metal detector gave a strong signal, and the tool was pulled from the ground. It was clear from its shape that this was no ordinary piece. Experts believe the tool may have been used to process or move a precious metal, possibly gold. Its age and craftsmanship indicate that the tool may have been from the first makers on the island, who may have been skilled artisans or engineers, not mere laborers. Meanwhile, another discovery in Lot 5 surprised the team. A small round metal object that initially appeared to be a coin turned out to be a 13th century lead seal. The seal was associated with a British firm called J. Lloyd Parker and Company, a company that dealt in military supplies in the 1700s. This discovery was not a normal one. It raised questions. If the company was connected to Oak Island, was the island simply a treasure hunting site? Or was it once used for military or quasi-official operations? Is it possible that something was stored here that held special significance to the British Crown? The seal wasn't just a historical piece. It also bolstered theories that religious institutions or governments may have hidden something very valuable on the island. Until now, the notion of a treasure chest was mostly associated with a single hidden location called the Money Pit. But recent discoveries, including heavy tools, sophisticated ceramics, and official seals, indicate that there may have been more than one attempt here and possibly in different eras. This suggests that Oak Island was not just a place to hide wealth, but may have been a long-term, strategically important location. A point connected at various times to the secret networks of empires, religious groups, and powerful institutions. Every new technology gives an opportunity to see old land from a new perspective. When the Oak Island team started using an advanced technology called muon tomography, they got some results that were far more solid than the discoveries before. This technique measures the density inside the ground and creates three-dimensional images based on that. In this process, they found signs of several unusual structures below the Money Pit area, one of which, at a depth of 65 feet, was a very dense structure. At the same time, other important signals were recorded at depths of 112 feet and 230 feet. The shape and direction of these structures were enough to tell that these were not just natural caves. There was clearly a plan and purpose in their construction. After this technological breakthrough, an old nail-shaped iron tool was found while investigating the debris of the garden shaft in Episode 6. This tool was definitely rusted, but its shape and structure were telling something. Experts believed it might be a tool used in the construction of tunnels or chambers containing treasure in the 1700s. Another piece of the complex puzzle that Oak Island has long hidden. Soon after, a discovery in Lot 5 further surprised the team. The object initially appeared to be a coin, but upon closer examination, it turned out to be a 13th century lead seal associated with the British company J. Lloyd Parker and Company, which was active in military supplies in the 1700s. The discovery raised a number of new questions. Could the island have ever been a center of formal military operations or high-level trade? And if objects from the period between 1200 and 1700 are being found together, is it possible that there were multiple organized efforts in different centuries? All of these objects, whether rusted tools, refined porcelain, or official seals, make it clear that the mystery of Oak Island goes far beyond a single treasure. Each item that emerges from the soil adds a new twist to the unfinished story. The team begins to realize that the island is not just a money pit. It may have been a historical melting pot, where many civilizations, institutions, and mysterious forces may have been active for one reason or another. And that's why each new twist in the excavation not only provides answers, but also deepens the questions. Despite centuries of effort, the mystery still fascinates people, the team and viewers around the world who watch with anticipation every episode of the search. When construction layers from different periods are repeated in one place, it is not just a matter of architecture. It is an indication of the historical significance of the place. The rectangular foundation found in Lot 5, which appears to be associated with an older circular structure, led the team to think in this direction. The most striking aspect of this discovery was that the construction activities of different periods were concentrated in one place, indicating that the site was witness to a long and well-planned campaign, not a temporary effort. Helen, the archaeologist of the team, believed that the circular structure was probably the central point of an operation. Whether it was a safekeeping place or the operation center of some secret activity, its purpose was clearly not ordinary. What made the discovery even more interesting was the fragment of a fine porcelain teacup found nearby. It was not a common object that would have been used in shipbuilding or labor. Its form, design, and quality suggested that the object belonged to an elite individual, perhaps an official, a merchant, or someone connected to a prestigious organization. When all of these finds were taken together, useful tools like cribbing spikes, mining tools, and such high-quality objects, it emerged that the people who were active on the island were not mere laborers or treasure hunters. They had resources, technical knowledge, and a long-term plan. This scenario bolsters long-standing theories that Oak Island may have once been used by secret organizations or powerful entities who had not only the means, but also a good reason to keep their objectives secret. To know what's hidden underground, it's not enough to guess or feel. It's necessary to have technical evidence. When the team excavating Oak Island used modern technology called muon tomography, they found data that was impossible to ignore for the first time. This technique measures the density of the Earth's interior and creates three-dimensional images and can probe much deeper than conventional ground-penetrating radar. The results of this technique in the Money Pit area were surprising. An extremely dense structure was found at a depth of 65 feet, just below the garden shaft, and unusual shapes were recorded at depths of 112 feet and 230 feet. The shape and orientation of these structures were not typical of natural caves. They indicated that they were probably designed. These clues revived an old question. Has someone built a complex system of traps, diversion tunnels, and treasure-hiding structures beneath Oak Island? There, in Lot 5, the team made another important discovery, a small round metal fragment that at first glance appeared to be a coin, but on examination turned out to be a 13th century lead seal.